cushion or blanket at the ready for today. That's all you need. And get yourself comfy. Just come to sit down for a little moment while I read you something beautiful. So yesterday morning there was a knock at the door, and so I went to the door, and on the doorstep was this big box from the Isles of Scilly. And when I opened it, it was full of scented narcissi. And so the house is filled with the most glorious smell. They're absolutely beautiful. So someone had very kindly sent me this enormous bunch of flowers. And it made me think, I guess some of you as well, when you're out for your walks at the moment, you might have seen the signs of spring, the snowdrops, and even some of the daffodils starting to come through. And it kind of gives me a little bit of hope. It's getting lighter as well, isn't it? It kind of gives me a little bit of hope that winter is slowly coming to an end, and spring always makes us feel, I think, a little bit more positive. And I just want to start by reading something. So the beginning of February is, I guess, for some people, quite an important festival for our ancestors. So I just want to read this before we get going, because it's just so beautiful, and let that kind of feeling of regeneration and hope and renewal kind of infuse your practice today. So it was written in the Times on Saturday. Snow melts quickly in Somerset, and the air is already tinged with the edge of spring. In Britain and Ireland, our ancestors celebrated Imbolc at the start of February. The original ancient word Imbolc means in the belly. All is expectant, like the gentle curve of a pregnancy. Imbolc is also thought to refer to ewe's milk. In the body of the earth and its creatures is a promise of lambing, growth and renewal, of things awakening and life force stirring. The old year is dead, a new green fuse has been lit, and with the returning light comes life's insatiable need for growth. Imbolc is traditionally the great festival and honouring of Bridget, so valued as a pagan goddess that her worship was absorbed into the Christian church as Saint Bridget, a goddess of healing, poetry, smithcraft, fire and the hearth. She brought fertility to the land and its people, and was connected to midwives and newborn babies. And as the ice thaws and spring comes by slow, unstoppable increments, there are the snowdrops. They have come all the way through our chill earth, spring's magical calligraphy in their petals, icicles turned to flowers. I just thought that was beautiful, such a beautiful description of what can be a very dreary time of year. So yeah, that kind of spirit of renewal, regeneration, hope, positivity, kind of just infuse our practice today. So you're going to need your blanket or your cushion just nearby, but in fact you can almost pop it under the back of your head as we come down to lie down if you fancy. So if you want to, have it to hand. If you fancy, like me, popping it under your head already, just make sure that your neck is free and you've got the very middle of the back of your head placed on your little cushion or rolled up blanket. It's just to elevate your head up a little bit. And then you might want to just puff up your chest, arch your back a little ways so you can slide and slither the shoulder blades down the back. And then relax the arms down alongside you. If you want to stretch your legs out this morning, feel free. I'm just going to keep my feet on the floor just to support my lower back. I'm even going to walk my feet a little bit wider apart, and then my knees can knock against one another. I'll just come up to seated just so I can continue to talk to you. So take a moment now just to arrive in your practice on this, what is here anyway, a beautiful, sunny, wintry morning. So just take a note of how you're feeling and what you're working with today. Taking a moment to begin to drop into listening to all those inner whispers of the body. How you're feeling physically. That's kind of the easiest level to work on, isn't it, to begin with? You notice any tight spots or aches and pains. But then perhaps we can begin to sink back a little deeper and we begin to tap in with what we're dealing with on an energetic level. full of the joys of spring this morning, or maybe feeling a little bit winter weary. All is good. Just acknowledge. Try not to judge. And maybe the hardest level to examine in an objective fashion without judging, without over-analysing, is what you're bringing to the mat emotionally today. The ups and downs continue. So feel the feel. As one of my lovely yoga teachers says, feel the feel, whatever you're feeling. It's okay. And almost imagine that you're breathing in a 360-degree fashion now. So you're sending that breath throughout the whole body, right down to your toes and to your fingertips. Feeling that sense of space in the body. And then as you exhale, you just allow everything to settle and soften back down to center. Take a couple more breaths like that. So almost again, imagine that 360-degree breath, sending that breath to where it's needed in the body this morning. Let's do one more like that. So a lovely deep inhale. Infusing the body with that fresh energy this morning as you breathe in. And breathing out, sense of letting go and releasing. So if you've got your legs outstretched, you can keep them there. I'm going to keep my feet on the floor, my knees bent. So just arranging yourself in such a position that your upper body feels comfortable. Just going to work on the shoulders and around the neck to begin with. So head just resting on your blanket or your cushion there, your neck is free. We're going to take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, gently drop your head or roll your head to the right. So you're just on your right temple. So try and keep that left shoulder where it is. And then very gently just press the side of the head, that right temple, in towards your blanket, your cushion, the floor, a little bit more firmly. And then releasing, we'll come slowly back through center. Take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, we'll roll over to the left. And we'll just pause. So you're just rolling onto your left temple. And then again, very gently, just see if you can begin to press the side of the head a little bit more firmly into the support of your cushion, your blanket, or just the floor. And then come back to center. Let's work with the breath now. So inhale when you're looking up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, take a little roll to the right, pressing the right temple gently in towards the floor. That inhale brings the head back to center. And exhale, you just roll in the opposite direction, just pressing the left side of the head, the left temple, into the floor, the mat, or your blanket there. So let's do a couple more side to side. So as you turn your head to one side, try and keep the opposite shoulder nice and relaxed. You might feel a very gentle stretch down the side of your neck as you very gently press the side of the head down a little bit. Let's do just once more. So moving really slowly, trying to let the practice today be led by your breath-led movement, rather than the movement dictating your breath. So last time over to the left. And then we'll come all the way back through center. Beautiful. If your legs are stretched out, you're going to walk your heels back in towards you. You're going to bring the arms out level with the shoulders. You're going to roll onto your right hand side, bringing your left palm to meet your right palm. And your knees are curled up towards your chest. It's like you're sitting on a chair. So your back is straight. You might need to tuck or draw that right shoulder underneath you. So your fingertips are on top of each other. You've not got your left hand in front of your right hand. So take a moment to get nice and comfortable. And just make sure you've got some blanket or cushion behind you. We're going to roll the head. Lovely. So let's start with this top arm, this left arm. I'm going to start drawing nice big circles. You're going to slide your fingertips up towards the top of the mat and then open the shoulder, taking the arm above the head, open up into a little twist, and then the hand comes down towards your hip, brushes across your thigh, and then the palms come together. So as you inhale, you take that arm all the way up and out to the side, opening the chest. And as you exhale, you complete that circle and bring the palms together. So if we do that twice more, if you've not got much space above you or out to the side, just soften your elbow a little bit. Just work with a bent arm. I'm doing that because I've got a little bit of constriction in terms of space around me this morning. So you can work with a straight arm, you can work with a bent arm, get that nice sense of movement in the shoulder as far as feels comfortable for you today. Beautiful. And when you've completed that last circle, the palms are once more on top of each other, fingertips touching. Drop that top shoulder. Make sure that you're not collapsing in the underneath waist. Push that top hip a little further away from you. And now I want to open the chest. So that left hand, you're going to draw all the way up your right arm, fingertips sliding to right shoulder. Fingertips come across the chest and reach both arms out level with the shoulders. You can maybe turn your head to look over towards your left hand. And then reach that left arm all the way up towards the ceiling, back the way it came, and bringing the palms together. So inhaling, fingertips slide up the arm across the chest, opening up, arms level with the shoulders. And as you exhale, take that top arm all the way back, bringing the palms to touch. Lovely. We'll do that just once more. So sliding those fingertips across your collarbones very gently, opening up through the chest, hips stay stacked, and then bringing the palms together. So this time we'll slide the left fingertips up the right arm to the shoulder, across the chest, reaching both arms out level with the shoulders, palms up towards the ceiling. You're going to hold in that twist there. So trying to keep my hips stacked. I'm pushing that top hip away from me. I'm allowing my chest to open. My left shoulder blades are not touching the floor. That really doesn't matter. Just breathe into that feeling of space across your chest. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly, let's close the palms together. Make your way back onto your back. So carefully, carefully. I'm just going to turn the opposite side of my mat so I can continue to see you. So this time we're going to roll onto our left temple. So you've got your left arm underneath you and your right arm is on top. Lovely. So just make sure you've got some cushion or block behind you. Drop that underneath shoulder. You might need to slide it back a little way so your hands are on top of each other. You've not got your right hand sliding in front of your left hand. Knees are bent. Lift that top hip away from you. Let's start with those arm circles. So right arm this time starts to draw a circle. So maybe you can bend your elbow. Try to keep your lower body, so from the waist down, and nice and still. So you're mobilizing into the upper spine, into the shoulders. So you're drawing that circle, fingertips trailing towards the top of the head, down towards your hip, your thigh. Lovely. Remember, if you're a little bit tight for space, you can work with a bent arm this morning. So let's do one more full rotation. So one side might feel a little bit stiffer. So just be kind to yourself, softening the elbow if you need to. So the next time that the palms are resting on top of each other, drop that top shoulder away from your ear, lengthen your neck, ready for that little twist. So this time, right hand, you slide your fingertips up towards the left shoulder, across the collarbones, opening both arms level with the shoulders. You maybe turn your head to look towards that right arm, and then sweep that top arm up towards the ceiling, and then bring the palms to touch. So adding the breath, inhale as you draw that arm. It's like you're drawing a bow and arrow across your chest into that little twist. And as you exhale, we close the arms together. So twice more. So try again to keep that feeling of from the lower body down. You're almost fixed in concrete. So you're getting that lovely rotation from the waist up. So last one, fingertips trailing all the way across your chest, rolling open. Let's hold this next twist. So arms out level with the shoulders, palms up towards the ceiling. If you're stuck for space, you can always soften the arms, soften the elbows there, come into more of a cactus. So my right shoulder blade's lifted from the floor. I'm not worried about bringing it down. I'm just creating a nice sense of space across the front of the chest there. Beautiful. And then slowly, slowly, let's bring that right arm all the way back. Just bring the right hand in front of you so you can press yourself up to seated. And pop your legs out in front of you. Now your handy block or cushions, you can pop underneath your sit bones if you wish. Give yourself a little bit of height this morning. You're going to come to a comfortable seated position. I'm sitting cross-legged, but you can stretch the legs out in front of you, no problem. Sitting up nice and tall, fingertips finding the floor. Let's take a nice inhale as you sweep both arms up. A little bit of energy through the arms as you push the palms down and away from you. Lovely. Let's do that once more. So inhale, growing really tall through the sides of the waist. And exhale, a little bit of energy there. Beautiful. Adding on. So inhale, sweep the arms up. This time we'll take a little twist to the right. So that left hand coming across to your knee or your thigh, other hand behind, straight back through center as you inhale. So remember, breath-led movement. Exhaling, twisting over to the left. One more each way. So there's no rush. So really let the breath carry you through your practice. And feel that lovely sense of space as you inhale and settling into that space as you exhale. Lovely. This time we'll sweep both arms all the way up and then bring the fingertips behind you. Fingertips can point forwards or out to the side, whatever works for you. Let's loop the shoulders down away from the ears. Push into your fingertips. Lift up through your chest. You can lift your chin a little way away if you like. And let's take a couple of breaths there. So you're squeezing the shoulder blades gently together. If you're anything like me in these last couple of days, you've been walking around with your shoulders around your ears and your chest all closed off against the cold. So let's undo all of that now. Beautiful. Chin to chest, lean into your hands. Let's give the legs a little bounce. And then if they were crossed, cross them the opposite way. Beautiful. Hands in front of you. Inhale, reaching up. And this time as you exhale, right hand down, left arm overhead. A lovely side stretch. Push the floor away. Inhale all the way up. Exhaling over to the left. A little push of the palm into the floor carries you back through center. One more each way. So again, we're just moving from the waist up, nice and grounded through your sitting bones. Beautiful. Both arms reaching up. And again, fingertips finding the floor behind you, pointing forwards or out to the side. You might even be able to come down onto your palms, depending on how open you are in your shoulders, how your wrists feel this morning. Elevate the chest, maybe lift the chin, but try not to drop the head too far back. Couple of nice breaths there. Just let that lovely sense of space infuse the front of the body. Beautiful. Lower the chin. Come back up to seated and find a way that's comfortable for you to make your way to all fours. You can plant your hands, roll over your feet. And then we'll come on to hands and knees, hands under shoulders, knees underneath your hips. You might want to give your hands a little shake or a twirl out if your wrists are feeling a little tight today. Lovely. So spread the hands nice and firmly, planting them into the earth. And find that lovely tabletop to start with. So again, that sense of sliding the shoulders down away from the ears. And let's do a couple of rounds of that lovely cat-cow to open up through the spine. So dip the belly, press into the hands as you open up through the heart. Lift the chin a little ways. Inhale. Exhale, round up. Like that lovely angry cat. And just again, roll with your breath now. Maybe closing the eyes. One of the beauties of Zoom perhaps is that sometimes when we're in a room full of people and they're all moving, but might seem faster or slower than you, the first temptation, I know mine is to keep pace with that person next to me. And one of the beauties of Zoom is we really can work according to our breath, which will be perhaps working at different paces this morning. So let's do one more like that, never worrying if you're moving faster or slower. Inhale. And exhale. It's that beautiful angry cat. Lovely. We're going to come all the way back through center. Take your left hand a little further forwards, just maybe one handspan. We're going to pivot on the left knee. Just take that right leg out towards the end of your mat, reaching that right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm not mirroring you at the moment. I'm working with the same arm. So we're in a lovely side plank. Beautiful. Now this right arm, I'm going to take forwards and down, and then take in a big circle all the way back up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. So you can look down, you can look up. Inhaling to reach up. And exhaling to circle all the way down. The next time you take the arm up towards the ceiling, pause there. Gently press your hips forwards. We've got the option to stay there this morning, or reach that right arm towards the top of your mat, lifting ear towards upper arm. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, you maybe lift that top leg. Woo! Pushing the sole of the foot away from you, reaching forwards with your fingertips, squeeze the bottom. Lovely, lower the foot. Let's come back round onto all fours, hands underneath the shoulders. Right arm this time, take a nice inhale as you reach the right arm up. And as you exhale, we're going to feed the arm underneath, thread the needle. Lovely, we've warmed up that shoulder. Inhale, look up, heart comes forwards as you reach up. Beautiful. Exhale, soften that supporting elbow. So last time, make sure you're taking your chest and crown of the head forwards, creating that length. You're going to hold now if that feels okay on the shoulder. If not, carry on moving with your breath. Easing your way down onto the side of your head again. I'm just going to adjust that left hand, moving it slightly away from my face. You've got the option to stay there this morning, just keeping the knees where they are underneath your hips. Or we're looking towards the left, so you can slide that left leg back behind you, powering out through the heel. Firm up through the belly, and if you want a little challenge, you lift that left leg, toes pointing down. Woo, kick out through the heel, firm up through the belly. If you fall, do so with grace. And then we'll lower the foot, bring both knees back underneath the hips. Push into that left hand, and we'll take the right arm all the way up towards the ceiling. Lovely. And then bring both hands down underneath the shoulders. Take an inhale, lift the head, lift the heart. And as you exhale, round the back like an angry cat. Beautiful. So we're going to change sides. I've just moved around on my mat so I can see you. This time, right hand comes slightly forwards of your shoulder. And we take a pivot on the right knee and slide that left leg back behind you. Lovely. So by taking your hand slightly forwards of your shoulder, hopefully now you've got your shoulder sat on top of your wrist. If not, just adjust the position of that hand. Lovely. Left arm reaching all the way up. Push the hips forwards. And then we start those slow circles, reaching forwards and down. And then all the way back and up. So remember, you can always bend your elbow. You can bring your fingertips onto your shoulder if it's too much to work with a straight arm today. If not, long arm. Beautiful. Next time we've got that left arm reaching up towards the ceiling, we can pause there, push the hips forwards. If you wish, taking that top arm alongside the ear, palm facing down, take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, see if you can lift that top leg, squeezing the bottom so the toes are pulling towards the face. Beautiful. Let's lower the foot. Come back down onto all fours. Just rearrange the hands under the shoulders. Inhaling, left arm lifting, opening up through the chest, heart forwards. Exhale, we'll feed that arm underneath, thread needle, lovely. So, and again, push into the hand, bring the chest forwards as you reach up, and then soften that right elbow as you take that left arm underneath. Just once more, inhale. So we're going to hold this next one. If you don't want to hold, you can carry on doing those lovely thread needles with the breath, or just come into a child pose. If you're holding with me, maybe rearrange that right hand, moving a little bit away from your face. Lean gently into that left shoulder. Option to stay there, or we're looking towards the right this time. So it's the right leg that slides back. Now, if you're feeling a little bit wibbly wobbly, keep the ball of the foot on the floor. If not, just shift your weight forward slightly as you lift the leg. Just helps a little bit of counterbalance there. Toes pointing down. Ooh. Firm up through the belly, and then we'll bring the foot down. We'll bring both knees back underneath the hips. Push into that right hand. Left arm reaches all the way up. Beautiful. And then hands underneath the shoulders. Let's come back into a child pose. Really just to alleviate a little stress on the wrists. So propping yourself up on your elbows in that child pose. Give your wrists a little twiddle and a twirl there. Lovely. Maybe wiggle the fingers out. And then reaching the arms forwards. We'll come back onto all fours. Take both hands over to the left side of your mat so you can step your right foot forwards, right foot forwards. Lovely. So you might want to just pick up that back knee, rearrange it, taking it back behind your hip a little ways. And then right hand to right knee. Let's start to open up through the chest, maybe looking up towards the ceiling if that feels comfortable this morning. Lovely. So you're really trying to open up through the chest. So a little lizard variation. We're dropping that top hip down. Now, options here, we can stay here, or you can pick up your back foot. You can bring the heel in towards you. Now, that might already feel like quite a deep stretch. If there's more in the tank, you might be able to take that right hand and take hold around the top of the foot and draw the foot in and open up through the chest. Ooh, big good thoughts. Let's take another inhale there. And as you exhale, slowly lower that foot. Beautiful. We'll bring both hands back down to the inside of the front foot. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll start to take the hips back. You maybe need to walk your hands back towards you. So that right leg is on a slight diagonal. So we're getting a slightly different stretch and sensation in our hamstring this morning. Breathing there, maybe pulling the toes towards your face, pushing that heel down a little ways. Take one more inhale. And as you exhale, plant the foot, bend the knee, and then we'll slide or sweep that right knee back underneath your hip, taking both hands over to the right side of your mat, left foot stepping forwards this time. So you might want to, again, I like to just to pick up my back knee and just walk it back a little ways there, settling down. And this time it's left hand on left knee. So you start to turn your chest towards the left. Lovely. Again, think about powering forwards with the crown of your head so you're not collapsed there. You're sending the head and the heart forwards. Now, one side might feel very different. If knees are dodgy, you can stay exactly there, getting that lovely chest stretch, little twist. Or you might want to pick up your back foot, your back heel coming in towards your bottom. You might feel already a stretch on the front of your thigh there. Or you can reach back with your left hand. See if you can take hold around the top of the foot and open up into a deeper twist. You're opening up through the front of that shoulder and you're getting a deep stretch in the top of your thigh there. Lovely. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly bring the foot down. We'll bring both hands to the inside of the front foot. Take an inhale. Exhale, slide the hips back. You might need to walk your hands back a little ways. So that left leg this time out on a slight diagonal. Toes pulled towards your face, pressing that front heel down into the earth, rooting it down if you want to increase that stretch. Ooh, I can feel that this morning. I know I've been working with my dumbbells. Ooh. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, plant the foot. Let's slide our way back onto all fours. Settling the hands slightly forwards of the shoulders now. We'll spread the fingers, tucking the toes under. Take an inhale as you lift your heart, dip your belly. And as you exhale, let's find our way into downward dog. If downward dog isn't for you today, stay on all fours, doing some cat-cows. If you're with me, let's start that little pedaling out through the feet. Inhale to bend one knee. Exhale to change. So really see if you can syncopate that little pedal with your breath. Breath-led movement, remember, this morning. Beautiful. And then find a moment of stillness in that downward dog. So whatever that shape is for you, maybe a deep bend in your knees so you can really send your hips up and back. Upper arms hugging your ears, spreading the hands nice wide. Some of you might be able to begin to straighten off the legs and sink the heels down towards the earth, checking that your heels are dropping down right in alignment with the backs of your legs there. Lovely. And then from that downward dog, let's take a nice soft, easy walk forwards now. A little sachet, sway your hips. You can have a little tiptoe towards the top of your mat, feet behind your wrist, bend your knees generously in a forward fold. Obviously, if that's not for you this morning, lift your chest and just bring your hands just onto your thighs or just rest your elbows on your thighs there. If you're in that forward fold, just let the crown of the head drop down towards the earth. Take the sting out of the hamstrings by generously bending your knees. Lovely. You're going to come up to stand, but I'm going to do a little qigong move called parting the clouds. So cross one wrist in front of the other. And as you slowly roll up, you sweep the arms in front of you. So one wrist is crossed in front of the other. And then when you get to the top, you open the arms out in a beautiful circle there, coming up to mountain at the top of your mat. Lovely. Let me just adjust the camera so you can see my arms there. Beautiful. So let's do that little parting of the clouds to open up through the chest. So soften the knees. One wrist crosses in front of the other. As you inhale, sweep the arms up, maybe look up. And as you exhale, palms up towards the ceiling, open up through the chest as you exhale and bring the arms down. Other wrist on top this time. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. And exhale, palms up towards the ceiling, elbows softening in towards the waist. We're going to add on, bend the knees, wrist in front of the other, all the way up. And this time as you exhale, let's bring the hands all the way back behind you. You can either just rest them on your low back, squeezing your elbows together, or interlace the hands, draw the knuckles down, and take that lovely opening through the chest, pressing into your heels, squeezing the bottom, maybe lifting the chin a little ways away from the chest. Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, let's release that and bring both hands to the hips. So we'll shift the weight into your left foot and just rise up onto the ball of your right foot. Get your balance, fix your gaze just in front of you. And then we'll lift that right knee and take a little circle through the foot. So just getting the body used to balance. You can always use a piece of furniture or put your hand on a wall here. Lovely. And then slowly bring that right foot down. And do the same on the other side. So lifting that left heel, fixing the gaze straight in front of you. Try to avoid looking down. Take a little twirl through the foot. Loosen up through the ankle. Beautiful. And then plant both feet underneath the hips. Lovely. Let's bring the hands together at the heart. Lift your breastbone to meet your thumbs. Beautiful. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, soften your shoulders. Root down through your feet. Shift the weight into your left foot. And we'll bring that right knee up towards your chest. Lovely. Pause there. Get your balance. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, step that right leg back into a high lunge, all 10 toes facing forward. Soften the back knee, so both knees are bent. Even that back knee has got a little bit of softness there. Beautiful. We're going to interlace the thumbs and arrow the arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And now imagine you want to pull your thumbs apart, so feel the upper back engage. Option to keep the gaze directly forwards or begin to lift the chest, lift the chin, roll the gaze up towards the ceiling and maybe the arms draw back a little ways. Beautiful. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, let's bring both hands down to frame that front foot. I'm just going to slide that back leg back a little way so I can drop my hip, take my chest forwards. And as I inhale, take that left arm up towards the ceiling. Come into a little twist. Beautiful. Exhaling, bringing both hands down. As you inhale, slide that left leg back into plank, option to drop straight down onto your knees. Or just for a moment, fire up through the belly, press into your hands. There's almost a little doming through the upper back as you hug your navel in towards your spine. Lovely. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, we'll all drop to the knees before coming down onto the belly, flattening the feet. Beautiful. Hands down alongside you with your palms rooted down in towards the floor. Press into the tops of the feet, press into the palms, and as you inhale, lift your chest. Keep your gaze down towards the floor, little locust variation. Exhale as you lower. And again, inhale, pressing into palms, pressing into tops of feet, pause there. Don't hold the breath. Option on your next inhale to lift the legs. As one unit, keep pressing into your hands, stretching out through the toes, take an inhale. Exhale, lower everything, forehead, and feet. Beautiful. Inhale. And as you exhale, lift the chest, press into the tops of the feet, press into the hands. Option to stay there or lift the legs. And maybe lift the palms from the floor, turning them inwards towards your outer thighs, stretching fingertips down towards heels. Take one more inhale. Woo, lift it up higher. And as you exhale, lower down, hands alongside shoulders. Let's push back up onto all fours. And then keep that nice rounding through your back now as you ease your hips back towards your heels. Just a little counterbalance after that locust pose. Lovely. Take a nice breath into the back body. And as you exhale, allow your belly to sink down onto your thighs. Beautiful. Coming back onto all fours on your next inhale. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale as you walk yourself forwards, coming to the top of your mat. And as you exhale, soften the knees into that forward fold. One wrist in front of the other. Big breath in as you rise up, parting the clouds. Lovely. And as you exhale, elbows into the waist, palms up towards the ceiling. Beautiful. Hands coming to heart. Let's see if we can do that on the other side. So lift up nice and tall. So open up through the front seam of the body as you inhale. And as you exhale, soften the shoulders, soften the skin of your face, root down through the feet. Let's pick up the left knee this time. Beautiful. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, take that stride back slowly. The floor's got you, all 10 toes pointing in the same direction. Now soften that back knee. Lovely. And keep the body nice and upright. So this time as you hook your thumbs, try and change the hook of your thumbs. So it's the way that feels really unnatural. Before you arrow those arms up towards the ceiling and try and pull your thumbs apart now. So you should feel again a little bit of engagement through the upper back. Option to stay there, or you begin to lift the chest, take the gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe a little lean back. Keep the legs where they are, try not to straighten the legs. Let's take an inhale. And as you exhale, slowly, slowly, hands coming down. I'm going to slide that left leg back a little way, just so I can drop my hip and take my chest forwards. Inhaling, right arm up this time, opening up through the chest. And as you exhale, hands coming down. Lovely. Inhaling into plank. Option to lower straight to the knees or keep the knees lifted as you exhale and lower all the way down onto your belly. Lovely. Hands down alongside you, palms down towards the floor. Let's come up into that little locust. So lifting the chest. Option to pause, pressing into the palms of the hands, tops of the feet. Or join me in that full locust, palms facing inwards, stretching out through the feet, lifting the chest, keeping the gaze just down towards the floor. See if your next inhale can lift you a little higher. And as you exhale, slowly lower down, hands underneath the shoulders. Push up onto all fours as you inhale. And take that little pause in child pose with a nice rounded back as you exhale. Let's take a nice deep inhale here, breathing into the back of the body. And a nice releasing exhale. Hands on the shoulders as you find your way back onto all fours. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips nice and high. Take that little walk forwards as you inhale, coming into your forward fold. And exhale, let's soften the knees. Allow the crown of the head to drop down to the earth. Crossing at the wrists. Inhale, rise up, parting the clouds. Arms lift all the way in front of the face. Exhale, open the chest. Elbows coming down to waist. Beautiful. I'll just turn around to the other side of my mat so I can carry on mirroring you. So we'll take both arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing forwards. I'm going to catch hold of that right wrist and very gently come up, drawing that left arm up, take a nice breath in. And as you breathe out, come over to the left, trying to keep both hip creases pointing forwards. So that right hip sometimes wants to roll forward. So draw that right hip back, press down into that right foot. Get that lovely sense of growing really long through that right side. Beautiful. Come all the way back through center, changing arms. So reach up, up, up first of all, and then over to the left. Draw that left hip back, press into that left heel, open up some space through the left side of the body. Beautiful. Come all the way back through center. Both arms are reaching high this time. Take an inhale. Exhale. Let's take a lovely swan dive down into a forward fold. Bend your knees as generously as you need to. Lifting up halfway as you inhale. So bring your hands up your legs if you need to. And as you exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Right leg, big step back. This time for a warrior two. So heel in. Toes face the long edge of the mat. And then we windmill, cartwheel, or walk the hands up that front leg into your warrior two. And I'm just going to adjust that front foot, bringing it to the middle of the mat. And then take the gaze forwards over those left fingertips. Front foot pushing forwards, back foot reaching back. Beautiful, lovely, strong pose. So sink deep into the legs. Just check that your front ankle and knee are stacked. Beautiful. Then we're going to start to straighten that front leg. Just keep a little softness in the knee as you lift the hips and just push that right hip back a little way. Reach forwards and then come all the way down into triangle. So left hand finding your shin, your thigh, maybe a little lower. And just relax that right arm for a moment down along the side of the body. Let's see if we can find a little bit of space in the chest, which we sometimes lose in triangle. So that right arm, sweep it forwards and then take it up towards the ceiling and just see if that's opened up some space in the shoulder for you. You can do that again a couple of times. If that creates that sense of openness through the chest, you can look up towards the top thumb or down towards your big toe. A little squeeze of the hips forwards. Again, think about the tips of your ears being pulled gently towards the top of your mat. So you've got that lovely length through the neck. Beautiful. And then relax that right arm, bringing your right hand to your right hip. Bend the front knee, left hand to left thigh. I'm going to hop or slide that back foot in, maybe about halfway. A little bit of balance challenge. So keeping the gaze just down towards the floor, forward of your front big toe. Just come onto the ball of the back foot, so you're shifting the weight into your left foot. Option to stay there. You can play with just rocking the weight back and forth. Or keep the weight in that front foot and see if you can lift that right leg, coming into floating half moon. Toes still pointed towards the long edge of your mat. Keep the gaze down. And can we gracefully now land that back foot, all 10 toes pointing forwards in a high lunge. Ooh, it's a challenge this morning. Let's sweep the arms up. Inhale. And as you exhale, right arm forwards, left arm back. Woo, little chest opener, lovely. Inhale, reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, let's bring the hands down, frame that front foot. Inhale, take a spring off the back foot, bring your feet together. Exhale to fold, crossing at the wrists. Inhale, reach all the way up as you rise up, part those clouds. Exhale, elbows to the waist. Beautiful. Taking the arms up, clasping the left wrist this time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come into that little half moon stretch. Bump the hips over to the left. Draw that left hip back. Inhale through center, changing arms. Exhaling, pushing the hips to the right. Draw that right hip back as you press into your right heel. Beautiful. Reaching up as you inhale. Exhale, let's take that lovely forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Lifting up halfway, inhale. Exhale, soften the knees. Left foot this time, big stride back. Heel in, toes face along edge of the mat. Find your way up into that warrior two. You can cartwheel the arms. You can walk your way up that front thigh. Adjust that front foot if you need to. And if you can see yourself on your screen, I just caught a glimpse of myself leaning forwards there. So just see if you can bring the head over your heart, heart over your hips there. Sink into that front foot, push it forwards, press back through the outside edge of that back foot. Beautiful. Lovely. We're going to straighten the top leg. Front leg. That'll be anatomically interesting. Now bump that top hip towards the back of your mat, reach forwards, and then right hand finding the top of your thigh there. Lovely. Left arm reaching up towards the ceiling. And then just look down and let that left arm just relax down the side of your body there. Let's see if we can find some space. So left arm, sweep it forwards and up. And as you do so, get that lovely openness through the chest. You can do that a couple of times. Sometimes when we're in triangle, we end up with our kind of chest pointing down towards the floor. See if you can have your heart beaming forwards towards me. Crown of the head towards the top of the mat. You can look up. You can keep the gaze down. Just press into the base of that front big toe, that right big toe, so you're not sickling the foot there. Lovely. And then we'll bring the left hand to left hip, Bend the front knee and bring your right hand just onto your thigh. Slide, hop, step that back foot in, maybe about halfway. Gazing down just beyond your right big toe, ready for that little half moon. So shift the weight forwards, maybe just rise onto the ball of the back foot. You can stay there, playfully rocking the weight back or forth, or shift the weight forwards and continue to lift that right leg. So there's a softness in the front knee, toes of that back foot are facing the long edge of your mat, so it's almost still in a warrior two position. Here's the challenge. Can we slowly bring that left foot down to the floor in a high lunge, all 10 toes face forwards. Woo-hoo! Sweep the arms up, softness in both knees. Inhale. This time as you exhale, left arm forwards, right arm back. Beautiful, reaching up, inhale. Exhale as you land both hands, frame that front foot. This time we're going to step back into a downward facing dog. Beautiful. Option to take a child pose, have a little rest. Or inhale, roll the body forwards to plank. And as you exhale, let's all lie down on our bellies. So we'll all meet there, lying down on our tummies. And this time we'll slide the elbows underneath your shoulders, coming into Sphinx pose. So maybe just walk the legs back so you really feel that you're open through the front of your hips. Chest is proud, so imagine you're drawing your elbows back towards your outer ribs, pressing gently down with your palms to your forearms. The chin is parallel to the floor. Lovely. Easy with the breaths. Feel a balance across the front of your hips. Lovely. Stay here just for one or two more breaths. Such a beautiful back bend here. If it's a little bit too much, you can always take your elbows a little wider and drop your chest down. Let's take one more inhale. And as you exhale, take the elbows out to the side, make a little support for your forehead and come down to crocodile pose, resting pose, forehead resting on hands. And just allow the front of the body to have that sensation now that we usually reserve for the back of the body, that sensation of just releasing and relaxing and softening down. And then while we're here, let's stretch out those quads from those standing poses. So right heel coming in towards your bottom, taking the right hand back, catching hold around the top of your foot or just hooking your fingers in your trousers there. Draw the knees, so if they're not touching, they're at least parallel, and then pressing the hips in towards the floor. So the knee is on the floor, you're lengthening out through that thigh muscle there. Opening up through that right shoulder a little bit as well. Lovely. Slowly, slowly, let's change sides. So left heel coming in towards your bottom. Catching either hooking your fingers in the trousers there or catching hold around the top of your foot. Knees are parallel. And you're just bringing that heel in towards your bottom. Pressing the hips down if you want a little bit more and feel that length through your thigh muscle. Top of the hip, right down to the top of your knee. Beautiful. Then slowly, slowly, let's release that. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders so you can push your way back onto all fours. And from all fours, we'll come down to sit on our heels momentarily. Drop your hips to one side and we'll stretch both legs out in front of you. I'll come round to face you. Let me just adjust the camera there. So both legs out long. If you want to grab your cushion or your blanket and pop it underneath your hips, feel free to do so. So just slide the flesh of your bottom out to the side there so you're sitting up nice and tall on your sit bones. You can pop a generous bend in the knees. Let's sweep the arms up, grow really tall. Take a nice inhale as you reach towards the ceiling. Keep that length as you exhale all the way down over the legs. Lovely. Take a breath in here. And as you breathe out, can you soften into that forward fold? Next, inhale, walk the hands back up the legs. Rebuild the spine. As you exhale, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Once more, inhale, reaching up nice and tall. Soft bend in the knees as you exhale, come all the way down. And this time we're going to pause and hold, so you can always take your hands around the tops of your feet. Your hands might be much closer back towards you, depending on how hamstrings feel today. Easy with the breath there. Lovely. Slowly, slowly walk your way all the way back up to seated. Lovely. So draw your right heel in towards you. So option 2, keep the foot on the floor as we come into a little twist, or stepping the foot over the left, but making sure that you're pressing into the sole of the foot. Final little flourish. You can hook your left foot around, so you're sitting between your heels. Lovely. So hand or elbow gives that right knee a little squeeze, and take that lovely circle again that we've been doing in this practice to open up through the chest. Right hand might find the floor behind you, or wrap it around your lower back if you've got that temptation like I have to lean into that right arm. Sitting up nice and tall, just drop the weight into that right sitting bone. Lovely. And then slowly, slowly come all the way back through center as you inhale. And as you exhale, just take that little twist in the opposite direction. So you're almost decompressing the spine there. Lovely. Let's come all the way back through center. Lean into your hands so you can flick both legs out in front of you with a flourish. Give a little bounce of the knees. And then we'll try that on the other side. So left foot inside of thigh, about a fist's distance between your foot and your thigh, or crossing it over. And the test of this one is, can you keep your big toe on the floor rather than leaning into your little toe? Can you plant the sole of the foot? Last bit, you can swish that right leg around so you're sitting between your heels. Just take a moment to get nice and comfy there. Hand or elbow brings that knee in towards the chest. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall if you've leant forwards. And then big circle with that left arm. Fingertips might find the floor, or again, I'm just going to bring the hand onto my lower back there. So it's almost forcing me to use those deep postural muscles in my back a little bit more, rather than collapse, as I know I'm apt to do. Because I'm only human and I've got short arms. Lovely. Softening the face. So on your next inhale, let that bring you all the way back through center, and exhale, we decompress in a lovely open twist there. Beautiful. Let's stretch the legs out one last time, giving them a little bounce before we bring your heels close towards your sit bones, easing your way down onto your backs. Let's bring the knees in towards the chest when you get there. And with one hand on each knee, have a little circle with the knees. So you've got a gentle massage going on around the lower back there. Might be a big circle, might be a much smaller circle there. Changing direction when you're ready. Oh, that feels nice. Just easing away any residual tension that might be there today. Let's keep both hands on your right knee as you bring your left foot down towards the floor there. Lovely. So tucking the chin in down towards your chest, lengthening out through the neck, holding on around the back of the right leg. Let's extend that right leg up towards the ceiling. Try to drop the weight into the back of your right hip so you've not lifted up through the bottom. Flexing the foot gently, opening up some space. Now, we've worked the legs quite a bit, so hopefully these should feel nice and warm now. So you might want to slide that left leg away from you, keeping the heel on the floor if that's the case. Lovely. Again, if you want a little bit more juice in the tank, you might lift your head up and slide your hands up towards your right shin or ankle. I'm going to keep that left heel on the floor for today. Lovely. Slowly lower down. Let's bring that right knee once more in towards your chest. And then this time we'll bring that right knee slightly open and out towards the right. Try to keep the toes of that left foot. If you've got the leg extended, you can do this all with the left knee bent if that's more comfortable. If you've got the leg extended, keep the toes up towards the ceiling. So we've got the option to stay there or join me in a half happy baby. So you might have to lift your head and your shoulders, right hand to inside or outside of right foot. Lower the head, lower the shoulders, and you're taking the sole of the foot up and drawing that knee down towards your outer ribs there. If that's not for you today, then just keep hugging that right knee slightly out towards your right side. Baby's not for everybody, but everyone's hips are happy and happy baby. A couple more breaths there. Just breathing into the front of your hips, whatever posture you've taken, either with that sole of the right foot up or just hugging the knee in and out. And then very slowly, let's release. Let's bring the sole of that right foot to the floor and slide that left knee in. Interlacing the hands around the back of the leg. Let's take the leg up. Again, try and drop the weight evenly through the lower back. Make sure that you've not suddenly shortened the back of your neck. Flexing that foot. And again, if the legs feel nice and warm, you can slide that right leg away. Heel pressing in towards the floor there. Lovely option to slide the hands above the knee joint as you lift your head and your shoulders. Lovely. Again, I'm going to keep my right leg grounded today. And we'll lower ourselves down, bringing that left knee in and then slightly out to the left. Now, one side might feel very different, so you can always rebend that right knee and bring your foot to the floor. You can stay there or join me in half happy baby, left hand to outside or inside of the foot. So you might need to lift your head and your shoulders to find your foot, but then lower yourself down and think about bringing that left knee down towards your outer ribs there, flexing the foot. So you've got a little bit of resistance between the sole of that foot and that left hand. You can always, if you can't quite get your foot, you can always hold around the back of the leg there. Oh, it's not for everyone, is it, happy baby? I love it, but it's taken a long time to open up enough in the hips to be able to do that. Lovely. One more breath. And then let's slowly bring the left knee in towards your chest, joined by the right knee. Give the knees a little squeeze, maybe have a little rock side to side. And then keeping the knees in towards the chest, let's take the arms out level with the shoulders and drop both knees over to the right in our final little twist. And so this time arranging the knees in such a position that you can try and keep that left shoulder blade grounded. So remembering the higher up your knees, the higher up the spine, you'll feel that twist. So you can take your knees away from you, slide your feet away if you want less of a twist in your back there. That right hand might come to the top knee. If your knees are close enough towards you, and gently encourage the knees towards the floor. Easy with the breath. I know it must have been cold this morning because Milu was on the bed, actually got into bed at 4:15 this morning, started kneading my bladder very, very vigorously. It must have been chilly this morning. Let's reach the arms out. Use an inhale to come all the way back through center and then all the way over to the left. I thought he would come to join us this morning, but he's currently in a very sunny spot in the washing basket. In a little sunbeam there. So we can hopefully after yoga go and enjoy a little bit of winter sunshine, look forward to spring. Go out for our walks and see what signs of spring we can see around us today. Lovely. One more breath and that twist to the left. And then slowly let's come all the way back through center. And if you've got to shoot off, thank you so much for coming. If you want to just finish with just a moment or two of quietness, arrange yourself in such a position that works for you. It might mean want to take a full body stretch and then find your way into Shavasana, legs outstretched. Knees bent, maybe a little pillow underneath you. I'm just going to come up to seated. Closing the eyes. Take a moment once more to arrange yourself. Beautiful. So hopefully this morning we've created a sense of space, opened up through the chest, found our breath. And now a little bit of rest. And I started off by saying that this time of year was a pagan festival and then became a Christian festival. St. Bridget's Day. And there's a line from the poem of St. Bridget, which is on the 1st of February, her Saint's Day. It's a beautiful line. It says, calm us into a quietness that heals and listens. Calm us into a quietness that heals and listens. So as you take a moment at the end of your practice now, just to allow the body to rest and digest, almost assimilate the effects of a practice. Seeing if you can allow the body to settle into that quietness, a quietness where you can listen. Listen to those whispers of the body. Taking this moment to allow the body a moment of quietude and stillness in the midst of all the busyness. And once more, you could perhaps explore that sensation of a 360-degree breath, breathing into every single nook and cranny of the body, finding all of those hidden pockets to open up some space. So keeping with you now that sense of calmness, that sense of inner quietude as you gently begin to prepare for the rest of this beautiful day by deepening the breath, bringing a little bit of movement into your fingertips, your toes, knowing that you can always stay longer on the mat, never feeling obliged to end with me if you need a little bit more time to lie down. Before you come up to seated, you might want to have a nice full body stretch. You might want to little roll across the back of your head or circle of your knees as you bring them in towards your chest. Do whatever you kind of need to do. Again, kind of listen to what the body needs. And then come and join me in a comfortable seated position. So again, you can pop yourself up on your blanket, your cushions to elevate the hips. So as you bring your hands into Anjali Mudra, so the palms are together, we'll just bring your thumbs in towards your breastbone, your chin just softly dropping down towards your chest. I was talking about spring and that evolving, cyclical nature that's going on around us. Becoming lighter, a little bit brighter. I'll leave you with this lovely quote as you hopefully get out and enjoy some sunshine today. Everything that sets us back into the slow circles of nature is a help. So namaste, go and enjoy a little bit of early spring sunshine today. And thank you for coming to class. Thank you, thank you. Go and find some snowdrops.
Thank you, Helen.
Go.